Glad you liked it. Let me know if you need any tweaks or if you want another speech with a different focus. Everything that exists in this world, every invention, every great achievement, every revolution, began as a vision in someone's mind. The world we live in today wasn't shaped by people who simply followed the rules or accepted things as they were. It was shaped by those who saw something that didn't exist yet and had the courage to bring it to life. Vision is more than just an idea, it's a force. It's the ability to see beyond the present, beyond limitations, beyond what others believe is possible. The people who change the world aren't necessarily the smartest or the most experienced, they are the ones who can see a future that others cannot yet imagine. They are the ones who refuse to accept reality as it is because they know reality can be reshaped, but having a vision isn't enough. Vision without action is just a dream. The real challenge is taking that vision and making it real, and this is where most people give up, because the moment you have a vision that challenges the norm, you will face resistance. The world will tell you it's impossible, that it's unrealistic, that things have always been done a certain way and should stay that way. But visionaries don't listen to that noise. They push forward, not because they have all the answers, but because they believe in something greater than themselves. Think about it. Every breakthrough in history, whether in technology, science, art, or business, started with a single person or a small group of people daring to believe in something bigger than their circumstances. They weren't just reacting to the world, they were creating it. They saw a blank canvas where others saw a wall. They saw opportunity where others saw obstacles. A true vision doesn't come from looking at what exists today, it comes from looking at what could be tomorrow. It requires imagination, but it also demands courage. Because having a vision means stepping into the unknown. It means embracing uncertainty. It means believing in something before anyone else does. And the most powerful visions aren't just about personal success. They're about impact. They're about creating something that outlives you, something that makes the world better. The people who shape history aren't just thinking about the next 5 years, they're thinking about the next 50. Vision is what separates those who build the future from those who merely live in it. Look around you. Everything you see, the way businesses operate, the way technology functions, the way societies are structured, exists because, at some point, people accepted it as the way things are. But here's the truth. Nothing is set in stone. Every rule, every system, every so-called fact was created by someone no different from you, and that means it can be changed. The people who truly change the world are the ones who refuse to accept things at face value. They are the ones who look at a process, a belief, or a tradition and ask, why? Why does it work this way? Why can't it be better? Who decided this is the only way? What if we did it differently? History is filled with breakthroughs that only happened because someone dared to question what everyone else assumed to be true. There was a time when people believed humans could never fly, a time when they thought the earth was flat, a time when they assumed sending messages across the world instantly was impossible. And yet, every one of those assumptions was shattered by someone who refused to believe what they were told. But questioning everything isn't easy. Society teaches us to follow instructions, to accept what we're taught, to stay inside the lines. From a young age, we're rewarded for compliance, not curiosity. We're told to memorize answers, not to challenge the questions. And that's exactly why so many people go through life without ever realizing they're trapped inside invisible boundaries. The greatest innovators, the greatest minds, the greatest revolutionaries, none of them followed the script. They challenged the norms. They disrupted the status quo. They refused to accept the words, "that's just how it is." Because those 5 words are the enemy of progress. When you question things, you will make people uncomfortable. You will be told you're wrong. You will be dismissed, laughed at, maybe even opposed, because the world doesn't like to be challenged. It resists change. It defends its old ways, even when they're broken. But if you stop questioning, if you stop pushing, then nothing ever evolves. The real breakthroughs happen when someone keeps asking why, long after everyone else has settled for because. That's how it's always been. Failure. It's a word people fear, a word that carries shame, disappointment, and the sting of rejection. From the time we are children, we are taught to avoid it at all costs. We're told to get everything right, to color inside the lines, to follow the correct path, to succeed at every step. Society rewards perfection, but here's the paradox. Every great success in history is built on a foundation of failure. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is a prerequisite. It is the testing ground where ideas are refined, where resilience is built, where true breakthroughs happen. The people who truly achieve greatness, the inventors, the creators, the visionaries, aren't the ones who never failed. They are the ones who failed, learned, and kept going when others gave up. Think about it. Every scientific breakthrough required countless failed experiments before the right formula was discovered. Every technological revolution started with prototypes that didn't work. Every great leader, artist, and entrepreneur has faced rejection, setbacks, and obstacles that would have made most people quit. But they didn't quit because they understood that failure is not a stop sign, it's a stepping stone. The problem is, most people don't see failure this way. They see it as a judgment, a reflection of their worth. They take it personally, they let it define them, they let it convince them that they're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. And so they stop trying, they play it safe, they aim lower, they settle for less. But failure is not an indication that you are incapable. It is proof that you are pushing limits. It means you are trying something new, something different, something ambitious. And that is exactly what you should be doing, because if you never fail, it means you're not taking risks. It means you're not challenging yourself. It means you're staying inside the comfort zone where nothing truly great is ever created. Some of the most successful people in the world have failed more times than the average person has even tried. They understand that failure is feedback. It is a teacher. It shows you what doesn't work, so you can get closer to what does. It forces you to adapt, to rethink, to evolve. And every time you get back up after failing, you are stronger, smarter, more prepared. The reality is failure is inevitable. No matter how talented you are, no matter how hard you work, you will fail at something. The question is not if you will fail, it's how you will respond when you do. Will you let it break you, or will you let it build you? Will you see it as the end of the road, or will you see it as a step forward? The people who change the world don't avoid failure. They embrace it. They welcome it. They see it as a necessary part of growth, because they know that every great achievement is born from the lessons learned in failure. Perfection is a trap. It's an illusion, an unattainable goal that keeps people stuck, waiting, hesitating, doubting. Too many dreams die before they even begin because people are too afraid to start until everything is perfect. But here's the truth. Nothing great was ever created by someone who waited for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect execution. The real driving force behind innovation, success, and impact is not perfection, it's passion. Passion is messy. Passion is imperfect. Passion doesn't wait until everything is lined up perfectly. It starts now, with what you have where you are. Because passion understands something that perfection never will, that progress matters more than flawlessness, and that momentum is far more valuable than hesitation. Look at the greatest creators, the greatest entrepreneurs, the greatest artists. None of them started with perfection. They started with raw enthusiasm, with a relentless hunger to build something, to express something, to change something. They didn't have all the answers. They didn't have every step figured out, but what they did have was an unstoppable drive to keep going, even when things weren't perfect. And that's the difference. Perfection seeks approval, passion seeks growth. Perfection waits for everything to be just right. Passion starts before it's ready. Perfection fears mistakes. Passion embraces them. Passion fuels creativity. When you are passionate about something, you become unstoppable. You wake up thinking about it, you go to sleep dreaming about it, you pour your energy into it not because you have to, but because you can't imagine doing anything else. And when you work from that place, from that fire inside you, you don't just build things, you inspire. You attract people who believe in what you're doing. You create momentum. But passion comes with risk. Passion means putting yourself out there, knowing you'll stumble, knowing you'll get it wrong sometimes. It means being okay with imperfection because you know that every mistake is part of the journey. The most extraordinary successes didn't come from people who got everything right the first time. They came from people who had the courage to start, to experiment, to fail, and to improve. The world is full of people who waited for perfection and never got started. And it's also full of people who chose passion instead. People who weren't afraid to be messy, to make mistakes, to learn as they went. And those are the ones who changed the game. So the question isn't, is it perfect? The question is, do you love it enough to do it anyway. Simplicity is one of the most underrated forms of genius. In a world obsessed with complexity, where people equate sophistication with value and intricacy with intelligence, true brilliance lies in the ability to make things simple. Because simplicity isn't about doing less, it's about doing more with less. It's about stripping away the unnecessary, cutting through the noise, and getting to the essence of what truly matters. Look at the greatest innovations in history. The light bulb, the telephone, the airplane, the personal computer, the smartphone. These were not complex ideas wrapped in layers of confusion. They were profound ideas that solved real problems in the most elegant and straightforward way possible. True breakthroughs don't happen by adding complexity. They happen by removing it. But simplicity isn't easy. In fact, making something simple is one of the hardest things to do. Anyone can make things more complicated, more features, more rules, more steps, but it takes a real visionary to refine something down to its core, to make it effortless, intuitive, and clear. The most powerful solutions are often the simplest, but getting there requires a deep understanding of the problem. You have to know something inside and out before you can make it simple. Simplicity is about clarity, whether in design, communication, business, or life itself. Simplicity forces you to focus on what truly matters. When you remove the distractions, what remains is pure, essential, and effective. Think about the products you love using the most, the ones that feel natural, seamless, and intuitive. They don't overwhelm you with unnecessary options or complicated interfaces, they just work. The same applies to ideas. The most impactful ideas aren't buried in jargon or dressed up in complexity. They are clear, they are direct, they cut through the noise and get straight to the point. That's why the most inspiring speeches, the most memorable messages, the most powerful brands all have one thing in common. They are simple. Not simplistic, simple. Simplicity is about making things easy for the user, the customer, the audience, the world. It's not about dumbing things down, it's about making them accessible. The best creators, the best leaders, the best innovators understand this. They don't complicate things to look smart, they simplify them to create impact. Because in the end, complexity is forgettable. Simplicity is unforgettable. What will you leave behind when you're gone? Not the things you own, not the money you made, but the impact you had, the mark you left on the world. Because at the end of the day, life is not measured by what you accumulate. It's measured by what you create, by the lives you touch, by the difference you make. Legacy is not about being remembered for who you were. It's about being remembered for what you did. It's about building something that outlives you, something that continues to move forward long after you're no longer here. The greatest minds, the greatest innovators, the greatest leaders, their impact didn't stop when they did. Their ideas, their work, their influence continue to shape the world. That is what it means to leave a legacy. But a legacy doesn't just happen. It's not something that falls into place by chance. It's built piece by piece through every action, every decision, every risk taken. It's the result of a life spent creating, pushing boundaries, refusing to accept the ordinary. Because a legacy isn't about living forever. It's about creating something that does. So how do you build a legacy? You start by doing something that matters, something bigger than yourself, something that isn't just about making a living, but about making a difference. The people who change the world don't do it by following the same path as everyone else. They do it by carving their own way, by standing for something, by refusing to settle for what already exists. A legacy isn't built by playing it safe. It's built by daring to take risks, by pushing through failure, by standing up for what you believe in even when it's difficult. It's built by caring deeply about something and committing to it fully, even when the odds are against you. Because the truth is, people don't remember those who followed the rules, they remember those who rewrote them. But a legacy isn't just about grand achievements. It's not just about building billion-dollar companies or changing entire industries. Sometimes the greatest legacies are left in the small moments, the way you inspire someone, the way you encourage new ideas, the way you teach, mentor, and lift others up. Because real impact isn't just about what you do, it's about the people you influence along the way. Think about the people who have left a mark on your life, the ones who inspired you, who challenged you, who made you see the world differently. They might not have set out to leave a legacy, but they did, because they lived with purpose, because they chose to do something meaningful. That's the secret. You don't set out to leave a legacy, you set out to do something that matters and the legacy follows. Most people go through life trying to be successful. Few go through life trying to be significant. Success is about what you accomplish. Significance is about what you give. Success is about personal gain. Significance is about impact. And only significance leads to legacy. So ask yourself, what will you leave behind? Will you be just another name in the history of time? Or will you be someone who changed something? Someone who inspired? Someone who left the world a little better than they found it? Because in the end, your legacy isn't written in words, it's written in the lives you touch.